Hey there, fellow small business owners. Today I'm covering a topic that's probably giving you a headache: cloud costs. You know what I'm talking about. That monthly bill that seems to grow like a weed while you're not looking. According to the latest Finops and Focus 2025 report from Harness, businesses are set to waste about 21% of their cloud spend this year. That's about $44.5 billion down the drain on underutilized cloud resources. And if you're running a small business, that kind of waste isn't just annoying, it's threatening your bottom line. But here's the good news: every dollar wasted is a dollar you can reclaim. Let's get started and walk you through actionable strategies to stop hemorrhaging money on cloud services. Optimize what you're already using and turn your tech foundation into a competitive advantage. Understanding finops. Before we dive deeper, let's understand what finops actually is. Financial operations, or finance ops, is the discipline of managing cloud costs through collaboration between engineering, finance, and business teams. It's about gaining visibility into your spending, making smarter trade-offs, and ensuring cloud investments actually support your business goals. Unfortunately, that is often not the case. According to the FinOps and Focus 2025 report from Harness, a staggering 55% of developers admit they make cloud purchasing decisions based on guesswork, with little visibility into their spending patterns. It's no wonder that cloud waste is such a massive problem. Challenges for small businesses. Let's look at where small businesses get hit the hardest. Limited IT expertise. While big companies have dedicated FinOps teams, smaller businesses typically rely on a jack-of-all-trades IT person or outsourced help who may not specialize in cloud cost optimization. Lean budgets. Too often, enterprise-grade cost tracking tools are priced far out of reach for smaller operations, and paying more for a tool than you do for the problem it's supposed to solve is not a good idea. Growing pains. When you're scaling quickly, it's easy to forget that those test servers or oversized instances are still running in the background and racking up charges. Loose governance. Without strong policies, teams can spin up cloud resources without oversight, and costs balloon faster than me on an all-pasta bread and cannoli diet. The waste adds up quickly. According to recent studies, organizations waste between 30 to 32% of their cloud spend through idle or oversized resources. For a small business, spending $50,000 annually on cloud services, that's potentially $15,000 flying out the window. That's money you could have invested in hiring, marketing, or product development. These aren't just theoretical concerns. Here are a few cautionary tales for you. Chris Short ran a simple site on AWS for $23 a month until one viral file ballooned his bill to $2,657 overnight. The culprit? He forgot to set up file caching. So, thousands of people downloaded the file directly from S3. Another startup got slammed with a $450,000 Google Cloud bill in just 45 days after hackers exploited an exposed API key. There's a reason online apps only show your API key once. One software consultancy discovered their AWS spend was actually higher than their revenue, thanks to all their just-in-case over-provisioning and zombie resources. Fortunately, they were able to cut their cloud bill by 40% simply by cleaning up. What are the core problems and solutions? First, let's try to understand the problems, and then let's talk about how to fix them. There is a lot of low-hanging fruit in the cloud cost optimization world. For example, right-sizing alone can cut costs by as much as 66%. Using reserved instances can offer up to 72% in savings over on-demand pricing for small businesses. These aren't just nice-to-have discounts. They can literally be the difference between staying afloat and having enough cash flow for actual growth. Problem number one is oversized resources. My Aunt Teresa once made a giant pot of pig's feet and tomato sauce with raisins for a Christmas party in Gage Park. Perfect for our Sicilian relatives, but half the guests wouldn't touch it. Most of it never left the pot. That's lift and shift gone wrong in the cloud. Taking your oversized on-prem setup and plopping it into a new environment that doesn't need it. Percent of cloud spend is wasted this way. Development environments running on production-grade instances and large databases supporting only modest stats are the main culprits here. Right size before you move. auto-scale after. And stop paying for pig's feet no one will eat. Here's the fix. Assess and redesign on-prem infrastructure for cloud efficiency before migrating. Continuously monitor utilization, aiming for 40 to 80% efficiency. Use tools like AWS Cost Explorer for right-sizing suggestions. Set up auto-scaling to match usage in real time. Review and adjust instance sizes on a regular schedule. And if half your guests happen to be Irish American, try making something with potatoes instead. Problem number 2 is zombie resources. Without strong policies, teams can spin up cloud resources at will and without oversight. This is the cost equivalent of leaving the refrigerator door open all night. The problem is that test environments, temporary servers, and proof of concepts often stick around long after they're useful. These zombie resources quietly eat into your budget like a teenager who raids the fridge at midnight. What is the impact? Unused storage volumes, idle load balancers, and forgotten virtual machines, all of which can cost hundreds or even thousands per month. It's like paying rent for a storage unit you haven't visited in years. How to fix it? Run monthly audits to find unused resources. Tag temporary resources with expiration dates. Require your team to justify any long-running services. Use your cloud provider's cost management tools to identify low usage or idle assets. For example, AWS offers Trusted Advisor, Azure has their own Advisor, and Google has Cloud Recommender. These tools help identify resources that just aren't earning their keep. For small businesses, such built-in tools can be good enough to start your cost-cutting journey. Problem number 3 is depending too much on 24/7 development and test environments. Many businesses leave dev and test environments running 24/7 even though nobody's using them at 2 a.m. Unless you have a seriously dedicated or deranged development team. With proper and sane scheduling, you could cut a $200 per month workload down to just $60. That's a 70% savings, like turning off the lights when you leave a room, but the savings are exponentially bigger. How do you do it? Automate your start and stop schedules for non-critical systems use. Built-in tools like AWS Instant Scheduler or Azure Automation are your friends here. You can even use deceptively simple tools like cron jobs to do this. You do not necessarily need a full-blown automation platform to save money. For a small business in Crystal Lake, Illinois, this could mean setting up your development environments to automatically shut down at 7 p.m. and restart at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. On weekends, keep your dev environments off unless specifically needed. This simple schedule could cut your compute costs nearly in half. And for short and bursty workloads, consider going serverless. Let's talk about problem number 4, the costly mistake of sticking with on-demand pricing. It's like buying airline tickets the night before your flight. Convenient but ridiculously expensive. Most small businesses end up paying full price for cloud resources just because it's easier and more convenient. Click a button and boom, you've got a server, but you're going to pay through the nose for that convenience. Think about your business. You probably have core servers that never shut down. Your website, your database, your core applications. Why pay top dollar for these when you don't have to by committing to these baseline resources for a year or so? Through reserved instances, you can immediately slash your baseline resource cost by 30 to 40%. Nothing changes about how your applications run. It's a billing arrangement that rewards your commitment. For a small business running a few servers, this could mean $2,400 back in your pocket annually. That's real money that you could reinvest in growth rather than overpaying for computing. Start by identifying the resources that never shut down. These are your candidates for reserved instances. Keep the flexibility of on-demand pricing for your variable needs and for workloads that handle interruptions. Reserved spot instances can save you up to 90%. Remember, cloud providers reward commitment. Don't leave money on the table that could be better spent growing your business. Our last problem is poor visibility. Have you ever opened your cloud bill and thought, what am I actually paying for? This is a problem with visibility, and it's draining your budget. Think of your cloud bill without proper tagging as a credit card statement where every charge just says, Stuff. There is no context and there's no clarity. All you see are mysterious expenses for all this stuff that you're failing to manage. More than half of businesses are flying blind when it comes to cloud costs. They cannot identify idle or unnecessary resources. How can they even know what's up with a forgotten test server that Hadley spun up 3 months ago? Hadley's test server? It's still running, and you're still paying for it. In the meantime, the crypto market exploded, and Hadley retired to a beach hut in Aruba. The fix is deceptively simple. Label everything. Tags are like digital sticky notes that transform chaos into clarity. At first, keep it simple. Start with just 4 key labels. For example, you can start with these: environment for production, development or test, project for website application, or even the project name, owner for the name of the person responsible for the cloud resource, and cost center for who pays for this cloud resource. Make this tagging mandatory through automation. The tags should be required fields for when cloud resources are requisitioned. Many platforms now let you flag or shut down untagged resources automatically. This isn't just about cost cutting. It's about gaining control over your infrastructure and knowing what you have. When you know exactly what's running and why, you can finally make smart decisions about what stays, what goes, and what you need to optimize in the cloud. Visibility equals control, and control turns your infrastructure from a money pit into a strategic asset. What are some practical tools a small business can use to manage their cloud costs? Do you need to buy a $20,000 license for an enterprise tool to get your cloud costs under control? No. Instead, small businesses can take advantage of several free or affordable tools. I've already mentioned native tools from your cloud provider like AWS Cost Explorer and Google Cloud Cost Manager. But you should also look into the tools for basic automation. Tools like AWS Instant Scheduler and Azure Automation are good go-tos. And there are several free third-party tools like Park My Cloud for automated scheduling, and KubeCost for if you use containers and need transparency into your Kubernetes spend. Together, such low or no-cost tools can cover up to 80% of what small businesses need to keep cloud costs under control, and that's without enterprise-level price tags. Once you see the savings roll in without affecting performance, you'll kick yourself for not doing it. 6 cloud bills ago. Let's talk about storage and how it could balloon into another cash suck. Cloud storage is like that garage you never clean out. It starts empty, but eventually becomes a museum full of digital junk that you're paying premium rates to maintain. I remember that in the days of 8-inch floppy disks, we would say on a clean disk, you can see for miles. But that feeling never lasted very long. Even with today's cloud storage, that clarity disappears fast. Suddenly you're paying for thousands of files called some variation of final v3, really final. And you're paying for backups from 3 reorgs ago. It all adds up. Here's how you can stop feeding the cloud storage money pit first. Implement tiering. Not all your data deserves 5-star accommodations. Move infrequently accessed files to lower cost storage classes automatically. Tools like AWS S3, intelligent tiering, or Azure's lifecycle rules can cut your storage bill by 20 to 30% without you lifting a finger. Second, schedule regular decluttering sessions, just like spring cleaning your home, auditing your cloud storage regularly. Quarterly would be ideal as a good idea. Delete the obsolete, compress data that hasn't changed in a while, and use deduplication to eliminate redundant copies. Those duplicate files are like paying rent multiple times for the same item. Finally, rethink your backup strategy. It's called disaster recovery, not digital hoarding. Use incremental backups that only store what's changed instead of full copies. And set expiration dates for everything. Yesterday's critical backup is tomorrow's cash suck. Remember, in the cloud, storage isn't just space, it's a recurring cost. Every gigabyte should earn its keep. When it comes to networking costs, at first you might feel you're paying for data transfer with pocket change. But those egress fees add up fast while you're not looking. Workloads that fling data across regions or back to on-prem systems can easily lead to bloated bills. Here are some smart networking strategies to put the kibosh on these towering costs. First, minimize cross-region traffic. If you keep your data and compute in the same region whenever possible, you don't incur extra charges. Also, design and build your apps so they avoid cross-region chatter. You can use a content delivery network, or CDN, like CloudFront, Azure CDN, or Cloudflare Cache, to keep your data close to your users. This helps cut down on costly cross-region traffic. Next, design your APIs to be lean and tight. Trim the fat from responses. Avoid sending anything you don't need. And paginate large datasets to keep the size of each transfer manageable. Think of pagination like breaking up one huge awkward task into lots of quick, cheap little jobs. The cost of failure for one large job is a lot more than that for several little jobs. Plus, small jobs are just less likely to fail in the first place. Finally, look into Direct Connect if you move large amounts of data regularly. Dedicated connections like AWS Direct Connect or Azure Express Route can lead to more predictable costs than paying by the mile. Cloud spending is a lot like that gym membership you bought with good intentions. It sounds smart at first, but then after a month of forgetting to work out, your bill arrives and you wonder, what am I paying for? Here are the cloud budget killers that small businesses often fall for. First, there's leaving development servers running 24/7. Nobody's coding at 3 a.m. Yet those machines keep burning cash. Simple automation to shut these down after hours can save you 70% on these resources. Then there's the mystery bill problem. Without proper tagging, your cloud invoice may as well just say stuff or miscellaneous for every line item. Basic labels can transform chaos into clarity and show exactly where your dollars are going. Another costly mistake? Treating cloud resources like last-minute flights. When you commit to resources through reserved instances, providers will slash your costs by up to 72%. Same service, massive discount just for planning ahead. Digital hoarding is equally expensive. Paying premium rates for backups that nobody has touched for years is like renting a luxury apartment to store old newspapers, archive rarely accessed data, and delete what you don't need. Finally, there's the Wild West approach to cloud resources. When anyone can spin up services without oversight, costs spiral out of control fast. I experienced this firsthand at a fintech company where our CFO halted all development for a week while we engineers audited years of cloud services. The findings were sobering. Nearly half our monthly cloud bill went to forgotten experiments and environments created by employees who had long since left the company. The cost was double. Thousands had been wasted on unused resources. But we also lost a week of productivity from 20 developers hunting down orphan services rather than building features. The fix for the Wild West approach is straightforward. Implement basic governance and resource tagging requirements. Create approval workflows for larger instances and set automated alerts for spending spikes. These simple guardrails prevent expensive messes without adding bureaucracy that slows your business down. Here's the good news. If you're trying to tackle your cloud budget, every problem I've described has a straightforward solution that doesn't require an engineering degree. Every dollar you save by optimizing your cloud spend is a dollar liberated for business growth, hiring, marketing, and product development. And if you're in McHenry County and need help, Nerds to Go in Crystal Lake specializes in these solutions. Remember, with just a little attention, you can make every cloud dollar work as hard as you do.